Did Microsoft just casually reveal the future of Xbox? What's up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff. The latest news, rumors, games, accessories, pretty much anything I want to talk about as long as it's about Xbox in some way. Now, let's be real. You don't need a YouTuber like me or any other insider to notice that Xbox has been going through some radical changes over the past couple of years. And a big part of that is they're going above and beyond to convince people that everything is an Xbox, not just the Series X or S, Xbox One, everything. And I will admit, when they started that whole ad campaign, I had my doubts. I was like, psh, this phone ain't an Xbox, that's stupid. But as the years have gone on, I've kind of come around to it. I do play Xbox games on my PC, on my Ally, through cloud gaming, through remote play. My one problem that I have with that, though, is that from a dashboard UI perspective, it always looks so different depending on where you're accessing your Xbox games from. The PC Xbox app looks a lot different, obviously, from the Xbox console dashboard. It looks a lot different from the cloud gaming UI. Well, as of today, they may have taken a major step forward in unifying the whole experience across the ecosystem, making sure that the dashboard at least is a lot more consistent across the board, because they just dropped a new dashboard for Xbox cloud gaming specifically, one that may be the foundation for all of the experiences that they serve up across the board going into the future. That's according to their own words. They're saying we're testing a refreshed web experience for Xbox cloud gaming that lays the foundation for accelerating our ability to new experiences for players. Is this something that we can expect on our Xbox Series X and S consoles? Is this something that they're going to roll out and replace the PC Xbox app with? Is this something that we're going to see on the next gen Xbox with Project Magnus? Let's go ahead and take a look at it together. So for those of you who don't know, this is the cloud gaming dashboard as it exists right now. This is not the updated version. As you can see, it looks more like the console dashboard versus the Xbox PC app. I think it's really cool because it eliminates one big problem I have with the Xbox dashboard. It cuts down on the ads, at least the immediate ones. On the Xbox dashboard, if you pull it up, all of this right here under the initial game tiles would be ads for some bull. You don't get as much room for that background art, but you get more of what you came here for, the games. And if you scroll down, you get to see what your friends are playing, you get to see what's recently added. You can argue that this bottom row, these big tiles right here, they are ads, sure. Mostly ads for Game Pass. Play High on Life on Game Pass, play Oblivion with Game Pass, play Stardew Valley with Game Pass, play Hollow Knight with Game Pass, but it's not as egregious as the ones that you would find on the console dashboard. If you want to check this out for yourself, you got to make sure that you have preview features enabled. You go on over to settings like this, you click this, yes, I want to enable preview settings, wait for it a little bit. This is the part that confused me. Once you go and enable those preview settings, you go to play.xbox.com versus the standard xbox.com/play. I don't know why it told me that it's not available to me. What do you mean it's not available to me? I'm Xbox ready, dog. Once you get through that back and forth, you'll be brought to this preview build. For reference, this is what the old one looks like. This is what the new one looks like. This is like a lesser version of what we have on the Xbox console dashboard. You have a modified version of the guide button over here, as well as any message alerts. It's actually really, really cool to see a proper library icon and cloud gaming anything. I click on it, and it's the majority of my Xbox games that I have on my console, probably even more than that, because I don't have to download any of these. I don't have to worry about saving space. So all the games I own that I don't currently have installed are here too. Like, I bought this copy of The Witcher in 2015 on my birthday, and to see that it's available, playable here is pretty cool. And then you'll notice that instead of having what was essentially an ad for Game Pass, like we were talking about beneath this first row of game titles, you'll see what your friends are playing. And then as you continue to scroll past the Play with Friends section, you'll start to see a lot of the same categories that we were seeing on the old dashboard. Recently added, most popular with cloud, Ubisoft Classics. It's pretty much the same thing, except these tiles are way bigger than what we were seeing on the old one. As we talked about with the previous version, this is a lot more in line with a dashboard you would see or associate with a console. And again, I can appreciate that the ads are kept to a minimum. It's truly like streaming. Oh, something went wrong. Whoops. They could do a little bit better of a job in terms of curating things for me. Probably not going to jump into My Little Pony, A Zephyr Heights Mystery. Same thing with Bratz rhythm and style, that's just not for me. Overall, I'm kind of surprised at how little Game Pass is featured in this iteration of the dashboard, even just compared to the old one. I don't know if that's a shift in Xbox's overall strategy, especially since they raised the price on Game Pass Ultimate. It could also have something to do with the fact that they restructured things and made sure that cloud gaming was included in every tier of Game Pass. But outside of these little tiles in the corner, there's really, the Game Pass influence is just not as significant as it has been on the other Xbox dashboards. You would think that there would be a whole category like, you know, the stream your own games thing, like, oh, play with Game Pass or play day one with Game Pass, something like that, but it's just not here. And of course, if you don't like this, you can always just exit the preview like yes, and then they ask for feedback. I like this. I think cloud gaming, especially from a UI and dashboard perspective, it's come a long way. I mean, it's just straightforward. Here are your games. You want to jump in on them? You just click and boom, you're in a game. Okay, well, I'll connect a freaking controller later. Unlike the PC Xbox app, unlike clicking games on your Xbox console right now, it doesn't bring up a game hub. It just launches you straight into the games. I like that. If I really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of this, compare this cloud gaming dashboard to the other dashboards as they exist right now, I vastly prefer the console dashboard in terms of aesthetics. Because of those smaller tiles, you really get to see the game art, and blown up on a TV like this, it looks really good. I don't have any major issues with the console dashboard. I wouldn't mind if they brought that over to Project Magnus or the next gen Xbox. Honestly, I just don't use like 80-90% of it. I just can't think of a single time where I was like, even in this section of the dashboard, like, oh, let's check out the Beyond Gaming section. If I'm not going into the store or Game Pass, I'm just kind of sticking to these top tiles, not the ads, but the ones above them. This new cloud gaming dashboard, I think it has some strengths, but if I blew it up to the size of this TV, it would not look as good. I honestly think this would fit very well on the Xbox Ally X. Oh, yep, yeah. Okay, now that I'm seeing it on the Xbox Ally, I mean, this is obviously what this new dashboard is meant for. You know, phones, gaming handhelds like this. They should seriously consider taking, I know this is just cloud gaming, but they should seriously consider just making this the standard layout on the Xbox Ally handhelds. I would not be mad if this is something that we saw more of going forward. It gives us our games right away. It elevates the social aspect of the Xbox experience, which was always core to Xbox's identity, by putting that play with friends section right underneath. It's something I know is important to people because, well, when I was playing Highguard yesterday, a lot of people got to see, hey, Lord Janitor, he's playing Highguard. I want to jump in on that, and some of y'all did. Anything that makes it more accessible, easier for people to join in and play games together, I'm all for that. Speaking of Highguard, let's talk about it. So much mystery surrounding this game ever since it was the one more thing that Jeff Keighley showed at the Game Awards. It was immediately slammed as another generic hero shooter destined to fail, just like Concord. And then the team at Wildlight proceeded to go radio silent on social media. And then last week, content creators are like, yeah, I was out in LA for a special preview event for Highguard. The whole situation was so weird. I'm not really into hero shooters anymore, but when Highguard finally became playable as of yesterday, I was like, I mean, it's free. I gotta try it out and see what the deal is with this game. So I spent the majority of my day playing Highguard, and I promised myself that I would play until I got a win. And I'm a little bit ashamed to say that it took me a lot longer than I thought to get that first win. I was playing on my Xbox Series X. I wasn't running into nearly as many issues as other people were. The game was running fine for me. The only time I really noticed anything weird was when I opened up the Xbox guide, and in the background I can see some of the animations kind of moving a little at a slower clip and just being a little bit more glitchy. So that wasn't really a problem to me. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's just like a worse version of Apex Legends. Well, I never really got into Apex Legends, so I can't really weigh in on that. I didn't have those same issues. The last hero shooter I really got involved in was Overwatch, back in like the OG Overwatch days. So I went to this with a fresh perspective. The problem is all the cool stuff that they were showing in the trailer at the Game Awards, it takes like way too long to get into any of that. They're like, oh yeah, this badass siege tower that you summon like you're freaking scaling the walls of Minas Tirith. Before you do that, you gotta go and mine some rocks. You gotta go and collect things out of chests and then talk to this guy and buy stuff. I did have some cool moments that made me feel badass. At one point, the enemy team was kind of funneling in through this narrow corridor, and two of my guys were facing them head on. I noticed that over to the right, there was a breakable wall, and I had this big ass gun. I don't even know what it was called, but it was from an airdrop. I had this big ass gun, so I was like, I have an idea. I'll break through the wall, gun down the wall, flank the enemy team, catch them by surprise. And it worked. It was a total success. I wiped the enemy team. I was like, okay, that was badass. But because of the size of the map, how small the teams are, 3v3, those moments are few and far between. You'll be doing a lot of riding around, a lot of farming before anything exciting happens. The whole capture the flag, shield breaker aspect of this too, I thought was pretty weak. Once you get into overtime, it seems like it just absolutely punishes any team that tries to be aggressive with shield breaker and initiate a raid, because all you need to do is, once overtime hits and there's no more lives available, is just sit back, camp, and jump the person who's carrying shield breaker, and then you start the raid. The win conditions are unclear, because sometimes like you get to the end and all you need to do is just hold on to shield breaker. You don't even need to get it to the enemy base and they win, but sometimes it's like double overtime. Very confusing. And even though they have different maps, all of them ultimately feel the same, especially when it matters most, from the sieging and defending portions. I just wasn't feeling that there was a lot of variety in terms of strategies when it came to defending and attacking. And a lot of that has to do with the different classes, the different heroes available. None of them were particularly exciting to me. Like, oh, Condor, I can launch a bird and mark the enemy team and ping them on my map. Sure, it's useful and it's almost necessary to have her in any of the meta as it is right now. But like, you don't want to be Condor, right? Like, it's just like, there's nothing fun or exciting about that. The coolest dude to me was the ice guy, and even that felt a little underwhelming. And none of the guns are particularly exciting either, especially as you level up. It's the same guns, just a higher rarity. And since everyone is progressing at the same clip, the whole match just sort of feels the same. I don't think Highguard is the worst game in the world. It was just kind of boring, kind of middle of the road for me, which at this point of the game in the video game industry, that's about as great of a sin as being a bad game. I think the discourse around this has been really interesting as well, because you got people being like, you gotta give it a fair shake, you gotta give it a fair shake. No one has to give your game anything. I saw someone complaining like, oh, all these negative Steam reviews, and a lot of them are just like they played 10 minutes. Unfortunately, that's the kind of thing that we gotta deal with. Creators, developers, anyone in the entertainment industry, because there is a flood of content out there, and if your game doesn't grab someone after the first 10 minutes, after the first match, then they can move on to an infinite amount of content that will grab them and entertain them. And even as someone who did stick around for more than 10 minutes, I wasn't finding a whole lot that made me want to stick around and continue investing time in this. Overall, weird situation, but I am glad that I got to play with some Xbox Ready viewers. As y'all know, I openly put my gamer tag on the channel. If you see me, if I have a joinable party, join me, talk Xbox, play games with me. Like I was saying earlier with the new cloud gaming dashboard, that's an aspect that I really value about the Xbox platform, the Xbox community. So I highly encourage you, if you see me online, shoot me a message, join my party. I may not respond to you right away, but I'm gonna try my best. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I gotta talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.